to be um, to be a very effective writer, and incidentally, designer, right? You have to be a cost you have to be user obsessive or audience obsessive. You have to be very obsessed about your audience. You have to care about them on a very deep level. I think that's what separates, because when you if you want to learn how to write, you can read books, learn grammar structure, learn sentences, learn all those stuff. But I think what separates the phenomenal writers from, and generally content creators and all that, but particularly for what we're talking about now, what makes a writer phenomenal and stands them out from the crowd in a very distinct way is if you genuinely care about the audience you're writing about. There is just this connection that the audience might not even be able to understand why they're so connected to you and the story you're trying to tell, but there will be a connection. Now, um I'll give a few examples. One of the greatest stories that have ever been written was, in my opinion anyway, was by Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, right? Now, to most people, most people interacted with Lord of the Rings for the first time, I think, through the movies, but it was actually a series of books, of novels that were written. Now, as I grew older and I started to realize the depth that Tolkien went to create that world, that story, he invented languages, right? So the languages you hear them speak in Lord of the Rings they're actual languages that people study now, right? So it's not just gibberish. He invented worlds with maps and histories. It was a labor of love for whoever was going to interact with that story. And it's not, when you realize the depth, the amount of sacrifice that he put into the work, it's not surprised that it has become what it is today. Now, sometimes as a writer, I stumble on some people's work and their grammar is not great. Their punctuations are like, all over the place. Sometimes their spellings are off, but you just cannot not love what they've written, right? Because yes, it's good to have good spellings and good sentence structures and good grammar, but at the end of the day, it's about the connection that is formed between what you've put out and whoever is interacting with that, with whoever is consuming that. And the only way to create that connection is by deeply understanding and deeply caring about the people you're writing for, right? That's the only way you can do that. Now, how deep the connection is now um, determined by how deep the understanding and relationship between you and the people you're writing for, right? Now, one thing you have to realize, yeah, there are like 17 slides and everything, and we've talked a lot, but it's a very simple thing. If you want to write about somebody or something or someplace, just go and consume information about that person. Like it's not all that thing or that subject. It's not. It's a very simple thing if you're patient and you're calm and you settle down to do it, right? If I was going to write about, say, um let's say if I'm going to prepare a content about, say, digital creators, I will spend time on Instagram. I will go and look for, say, the best performing digital creators and the ones that are not performing that well, right? I would study how they interact with their community, how they talk, what they complain about, what they aspire towards, what they are dreaming about. I will immerse myself in their world for, say, 1 or 2 weeks, right? And you realize that when you do this, looking for what to write about for those people might not even elude you that much anymore, because there will be so much to think through and process through that the case will become what do I pick and what do I drop, right? And now when you've immersed yourself so much in their world, it will be easy for you to determine what is important to these people at this particular time, or in this particular phase of this story I'm trying to tell, or this content I'm trying to put together. You'll be able to make these top level decisions that no mentor can teach you about, right? You'll be able to create cuts, writing cuts that will be so, precise, will be like a sniper hit whenever the person you're writing about encounters that stuff. And that's the simple hack to it. Now, once you have done this, the other parts can be learned. I mean, once you have the flesh of the whole thing, you can always use things like Grammarly. In fact, there are tools to fix your grammar and fix your sentence structure. And there are tools, I mean, you could use to do all those things, but the heart and soul of every writer is that you understand the person you're writing about so much, so deeply, that you can communicate an idea in a way that this person thinks that you couldn't have said it better. That's what you should aspire towards when you write. That someone reads your content and be like, you took the words right out of my mouth or mind, as it were. Right? That is what you should aspire towards. And the only way you can do that is to be obsessively interested in the people you're writing for. Yeah, and with that, I think that's the long and short of understanding your audience when you write. And I can guarantee you, I mean, once you just factor in practice and repeated process, like it's systematic process that you can use to grow, learn and grow. It's only going to be a matter of time before you create communities around whatever it is you write. To create people that would ride and die for you, literally create stands. You have people subscribing to your emails, emailing list, and your Substack or whatever it is you're writing on. So yeah, it's as simple as that. It's not simple, but it's as simple as that. Thank you very much. And I apologize again for how fast I had to run through this. So if you have questions, as much as our host will let us take, it will be my pleasure to try to address them as much as I can. Thank you very, very much for your audience and the opportunity. I don't take you guys for granted.
Thank you so much, Stephen. This was a bomb of a session. It was such a bomb. I think that one of the things that stood out for me, I don't know for others, is really just how all of life is so interconnected. Literally, if you want to do anything, you have to do the proper research and you have to be obsessed about what you're doing. Thank you so much for sharing this. Super, super, super insightful. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Please, guys, if we have, first, let's appreciate our speaker. Okay, Popola says, thank you very much. Chiwendu says, you're a wonderful storyteller and teacher, thank you. So guys, as we keep appreciating him, please, if you have questions, please drop in the chat box or just raise your hands to be unmuted, or you can just unmute yourself and go on and ask your questions. So we have a couple of minutes for questions, so please. The floor is ours for questions. So if we don't see any questions by 9:30, I'm going to take it that, oh my God, it was such a blast. We didn't have to ask any questions. So please ask your questions now. I was about to say ask your questions now or forever keep silent. But yeah.
And no, I think we can share the slides with everyone after.
Yes.
And so people that maybe are still processing, because to be honest, I kind of rushed through a lot of things, right? So people that are still processing, people that still want to take a second look can go through, and I mean, my contacts, my email is at the end of the slide. So you could share an email, ask your questions. I mean, it will be my honor to